What's up, everybody, and welcome to Machete Man's Messy Man Cave. Can you say that 10 times fast? I bet you can't. Anyway, everybody's really enjoying all the machete flippy dippy shit, so let's talk about machetes. Let's get situated. So we have 7 different cutting tools here. Some would call them machetes. We have 5 different kinds. So let's move in real close for each one of these. Okay, all the way over here to stage right, your left. We have the cold steel kukri. So I think they market this as a kind of machete. I bought this on a whim because it was cheap. Well, we won't say cheap. We'll say affordable. It was affordable, and what can I say, man? I like cutting tools. With that being said, I've had this thing for 4 years now, and I've maybe used it 4 times. This thing, it'll cut. Maybe if you're a Gurkha soldier and you really know how to use a kukri, maybe you're better with this style of blade than I am. A lot of weight forward, and because of that weight forward, this pointy pommel, I guess you want to call it, it really digs into the hand. It really digs in right there because of that weight forward. It's just, I thought it might be nice to have something smaller for whenever I'm moving through a lot of briars and I'm not necessarily blazing a trail, but I'm more or less like tunneling, and I don't have a whole lot of room to swing a 24-inch machete. Yeah, this has sat in the truck for 4 years. That's my opinion on it. Okay, so next up we have this rusty thing. This was something that I just found in the woods. Obviously somebody else loved it as much as I do, but again, I have a problem with knives, and I also have a problem with picking shit up that looks like it could be used again. Same deal with this handle right here. This, you can see something in the woods chewed all over that handle. Something thought that was a nice little yummy snack. Same deal with this handle though. This is, I mean, like a gladiator style, whatever they call those swords. This thing just digs. It digs into the hand. Now I know the purpose of this. It's so when you're holding this, the machete is not going, or the cutting tool is not going to come out of your hand, right? That pommel's there to stop the machete from sliding out of your hand. Personally, I work alone, and if that machete is coming out of my hand, I'd rather it just come out of my hand and go wherever it was going. Like if I drop a machete, I don't want it tethered to me. I don't want a lanyard on. That lanyard, I'll stand up and show you here in a minute what I think about lanyards on long knives like this. So let me fix this frame. Okay, so we've got some twine on this. We're doing it on the kukri. Let's see if we can get in frame for here. So I've put a little makeshift lanyard on the back of this kukri. All right, so let's demonstrate why I do not like lanyards. All right, so I'm chopping, and it comes out of my hand. Where did that come? That came right back to me. If I'm chopping and it comes out of my hand this way, now I got this swinging, sharp ass knife that is going to poke me, cut me, do whatever. Heaven forbid the thing comes out of my hand back here and I'm still in swing. I'm not going to demonstrate that. But yeah, I don't particularly care for lanyards, man. I know a lot of people swear by them, or they say that, well, you know, the lanyard hole's there for a reason. Well, you know, there's a lot of things that are there that you just don't use. And yeah, I know that I'm out here doing flippy dippy shit with these things, but you know what? I know what I'm doing. How about that? And if I feel like I'm you know, gonna cut myself, I will pull my hand back. And if I feel like it's coming at me, I will back up. And if I feel like I don't really have all my motor skills that day, I'm not doing flippy dippy shit. How about that? So yeah, that's my take on lanyards. And you know, do with that as you will. All right, so next up we have our, I believe these are military issued. You guys in the military, y'all go ahead and correct me if I'm wrong, but the Ontario knife machete. This is a 22-inch knife, and it is a thick blade, buddy. It is a thick blade. So they have a little bit of flex, but I'm going to tell you what I've seen happen with these things. Guys have been swinging, and they're not necessarily the cheapest knife either. They're pretty expensive. But guys have been chopping on like dead stuff, really hard stuff, and they'll get it, or they'll be chopping on green stuff. And I've seen these things snap. I've seen these things snap into two pieces. I actually take the pieces that these things break into whenever guys break them, and I'll cut out little knives and make the guy a knife out of it. So I think I want to say it's 1080 high carbon steel or 1085. It's something in that. So it's a carbon steel. Here's my other qualm with this particular knife. So if you see our handle right here, super boxy. We got this nice rounded top, right? And this can be a hot spot. Super boxy. It's just not it to my hand, and I've got medium style hands, or medium sized hands, medium style too. It's just not very comfortable. It really digs into the fingers right here and here. And it's heavy. It's heavy. There's no flex. Yeah, it's a Latin style machete. Latin style machete, and a lot of guys that I work with, they learned on these things. They learned how to swing this. This was the knife that was given to them whenever they started surveying. And like with anything, they use it every day. This is all they had. They didn't really care to go out and explore the other options of machetes. And they got good with it. And you can get good with this kind of knife. For me, though, I know that there's better things out there. And so here's something else. All right, we'll put the sheath. This is also an Ontario knife. But I took this thing, and being the knife maker that I am, I tried to kind of make this a little more comfortable. I've got some tape around it, just for a little bit more grip. So I rounded this handle out. Let's give you a side by side. So here's your stock, and here's what I have done to this Ontario. Yeah, it's pretty boogered up, but that's how it looks right there. And then I did this to it. Try to contour it more with the hand, right? It feels better in the hand. It does feel better in the hand. It's still heavy. This is a heavy knife. And it's weight forward, right? Weight forward. So your recoil on this, you actually feel yourself having to pull back up. Pull back up, pull back up. And it puts a lot of strain on this part of your hand. Yeah, we don't have the problem with the pommel. I do like the little kick out for the pinky finger here. I think you saw that. So that's really all you need with a machete. that kind of locks it into place. Yeah, I can't complain about these things because I've seen a lot of guys out there in lower Alabama swamp and some of the nastiest shit you've ever been in. I've seen them do some work with these things. They're not the knife for me. So, all right, that's your Ontario knife. Here's another thing about machetes. If you have a sheath, you get a lot of guys that want to sharpen. They want to sharpen the whole blade. They want to sharpen all 24 inches of this knife, 22 inches, however many inches you're telling your wife it is. I don't see a use for this entire blade to be sharp. Ontario knows that the entire blade shouldn't be sharp, and they don't start the bevel until, what is that? That's about 3 or 4 inches right there. So really, you've only got about, well, we got a tape measure. Put that on. Yeah, so about 18 inches. Can you see that? About 18 inches is what you have of actual bevel in this blade. Okay, so, but that brings me to a point when I was young and I was just starting out. I was one of those guys that sharpened the entire knife, the entire machete, all the way back to, I guess, wherever the machete had that bevel, right? Because I sharpened that machete all the way back to basically where my hand met, the handle meets the actual knife. I was trimming a steak so I could make a green steak. It's something that only surveyors are going to understand. So I was making a green steak and I pointed at something. I had the stick in my hand. Let's see, I had the long stick in my hand and somebody asked me something. I pointed with my middle finger and came back down like I was going to continue trimming that steak, and I took just a little bit off the top of that middle finger. So from that day forward, I quit sharpening my machete all the way down to the ricasso, I guess they would call it. Yeah, it's not necessary. Really, with a machete, you got about maybe 8-10 inches of where you're doing work, and that's happening kind of right in here, right? Now, a lot of guys, they'll sharpen even up to about here because they can do some fine detail work. They got some vines, they can nip them, they can just flick of the wrist. But let me show you what happens when you sharpen the tip of a machete. So you get your sheath and you're putting this this sharp tip machete in. Eventually that's happening, right? So yeah, you don't want that swinging down around your it'll cut your boots, it'll cut your pants. So yeah, don't sharpen your tip. Not to mention, the tip of your knife is always going to be, can you see my foot there? The tip of your knife is always going to be that part that hits your boot. All right. Another reason I don't like short machetes. I like a long machete because if I do come down and I miss whatever I'm swinging at, I'll hit dirt. I'll hit ground, and I won't go through, or I won't hit my knee or my leg, or take a little bit off the top with my boot. Okay. Ontario knife. You can love them. I don't. Okay, so for all my cutting tool, I don't know, connoisseurs, this, you can see it says it on the scabbard. It doesn't give them the year, but after some research and finding the maker's marks, I believe this is a 1943 Legitimus Collins, and this was issued to the Navy Seabees back during World War II. And if you don't know what the Navy Seabees are, go ahead and look that shit up. Pretty cool. All right, this right here in my hand is exactly what a machete should be, in my opinion. It's so great, and I love it so much that I don't use it. I'm just going to hold on to it and that's it. So we're going to put this up. Another Latin style machete. All right, moving on to the machete that you see me doing all my flippy dippy hippie shit with. This is a Tramonita, a 24-inch Tramonita, and this sucker is sharp, buddy. It's a sharp knife. I'm gonna give you a side-by-side. I got a brand new one that I'm about to show you. They got a lanyard hole on this thing. I even came with a sander and knocked that little corner off right there. So because I'm a loose grip kind of swinger. Okay, that sounded dirty, but yeah, I'm a loose grip kind of swinger. I've had this knife for 3 years now, and that's kind of why it looks like this. So you guys want to do an unboxing? Let's just move you on down. Ayo! So this is a brand new Tramonita 24-inch machete. We'll do a little side-by-side here. I really got it wrapped up. Man, if I only had a knife. Come on, help your buddy out. What the French is going on here, Toast? Why won't this machete come out of the plastic? Ah! Ah! Ooh. Yeah, just gotta peel it on back. Just peel it on back. Ow. I know you guys are waiting to watch me slice my hand wide open. Okay. Let's work smarter, not harder. Hallelujah. Holy shit. Okay. This is your brand new 24-inch Tramonita made in Brazil. Okay, so these things come with a factory edge on them. Let's move you back up here. It's not sharp. It's not sharp. It would cut butter, but it's not sharp. So machetes don't really come sharp. I mean, at least not ones that I buy. Machete is kind of a purpose tool, so I think they intend for you to put your own edge on them. But let's put a little side by side here. You'll see how much meat I have shaved off of this Tramonita over the past, what did I say, 3-4 years, something like that. You can see my old rusty one up on top there, and I have filed down probably a good 3/4 of an inch in the belly. It just comes from filing, from sharpening, from honing. Look, a machete is a tool that sometimes gets put into the dirt, and when you're surveying, sometimes it hits fences. God love do we hit fences. And you want to piss a surveyor off, put a barbed wire fence up in some bushes next to a property corner after he's just sharpened his knife. God love. So yeah, Tramonita, Latin style. That was 7 different knives, mainly Latin style machetes. Hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight or helps you make a decision on what kind of knife you might like. So if you like that video, go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, all that shit you're supposed to do to help surveyors that are trying to start a YouTube channel out.